Hey guys, welcome to I Hope This Helps. We have an exciting guest today. We have Christian Muller. And we're also doing a few things differently. As you can see with our background, we're not in our office. And instead of interviewing an entrepreneur, we're interviewing someone that's actually about to graduate college. Christian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Christian. I'm studying civil engineering at the University of Florida. I'm a senior now, and hopefully I can give you some perspective on the modern college student and what we go through. And I'm happy to be your first guest on the road.
Perfect, my man. So let's go a bit earlier age, right?
hmm
So let's go back to high school. Where'd you grow up?
New Providence, New Jersey. So
Uh,
it's very small town in Union County, not too far from. It's about 20 minutes from Newark, 45 New York City. So
all right, and tell us about the process of being to get into school, taking your SATs,
hmm
preparing yourself to go into such a great school as University of Florida. Take us through that process.
yeah. So it's definitely a complicated process, and it helps to have good parents and good advisors at high school because you got to create an account. There's this thing called Naviance where you answer a bunch of questions about yourself and start to network with different schools. And then each school might have a different essay. So the process of applying is definitely like it takes a lot of time and you got to think about it a lot. I kind of knew that I wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to go to a big state school. I wanted because coming from a small town, I'm like I need to change things up. I need to be around a lot of people, be at a big school where there's a lot of opportunities. I wanted a good sports team. So ultimately, I mean, I was between the University of Florida, that was my top choice, and then close second was Wisconsin Madison actually, which climate wise completely different, but as far as like their sports and their academics go, they're very same. And I actually knew a lot of kids who were making that same decision. Um, but those were like the only two I was thinking about. I did apply. Like you always got to have your safety schools in case that doesn't work out. I was lucky enough to get into both of those. So
Yeah, so you
um,
chose the warm weather, huh?
I chose the warm weather. Also, I have family in Florida, so I'm like, worst comes to worst, if I hate it here, I can always escape
Yeah,
as opposed
awesome.
to being in all the way out Midwest.
And you guys actually sports, big sports, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
guys just won the national championship
yes
game
sir.
in basketball. Go Gators, right?
Yeah, it's so we're good at everything. Like I think we're one of those schools that even like gymnastics, track, like we got pretty much everything. And football we haven't been like as competitive as I've hoped, but it doesn't really change. The atmosphere stays the same. It's still you still have tailgates. The stadiums always sells out for a few games. So,
All right, so let's go back. Let's forward to your freshman year in college.
mhm.
Tell me some of the adjustments you had to make compared to high school.
Yeah, so it was definitely a lot at first, you know. You're kind of I started off in a dorm. Had a did like somewhat random roommate. I mean, we kind of got to know each other a little bit before, but pretty much random. And I think I adjusted really quickly. I know a lot of kids who got like homesick. That never really was a problem for me because the first few days I was there, I met all the kids on my dorm floor, and we all kind of just clicked right away. And we were like, all right, where are we going out tonight? Like we all kind of got along, and then that kind of got me through the first few weeks. Um, and then I was busy right off. I mean, I started strong with classes. I definitely started off on a good foot. I'd like to say pretty organized with my schedule. That's another thing that's like it's a big step up. You're not used to doing everything yourself. You know, in high
Yeah.
school you kind of have people holding your hands, softer deadlines. I mean, college it's like you got a lot of responsibility and you have to learn how to manage your time, make your own schedule, all that. So that was a bit of a learning curve, but I think I did pretty well with that to start off.
So
And
if you
then
had advice to a incoming freshman, right, and they feel like it's not for them, or become homesick right away, what advice would you give them?
I think you just got to go out and meet people. It's the best because at the end of the day, everyone's thinking the same thing. Like everyone's nervous, so it's new and challenging for everyone. Something I did was I joined a fraternity,
Oh, nice.
so that was a good way to meet friends. You could play club sports. join any other clubs. I mean, the good thing about going to a big school is like people get nervous because it's a huge school. They're like, oh, I might get lost, but they have so many organizations and clubs and fraternities. It kind of makes it feel like a small school, to be honest.
That's cool.
Like I know a ton of people in Greek life, and it's like its own community in itself.
All right.
And then club sports are amazing too. Like for me, like I played soccer in high school, and I wasn't quite good enough to play D1. I was actually pretty far from it, but I knew I wanted to go to a big school. I didn't want to go to a D3 school in case I didn't like the soccer team, and then I'm just stuck there.
I hear you. I like the humbleness.
Yeah. Maybe in another life, though.
There you go.
But yeah, I think the club intramural sports is something that's really cool. I've done that a lot.
All right. So now let's go an incoming freshman that likes to party too much, and they're not focused otherwise. What advice would you have for them?
Oh man, that's tough. I think going to class is huge. Making yourself go to class, because it can be easy to skip classes a lot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did it sometimes freshman year. You're like, you want to sleep in, just stay in your dorm, and you're like, this class doesn't really matter, I'll skip it, But I think if you force yourself to go to class like every day, I mean, everyone's schedule is different, but the days you have in-person class, if you force yourself to go in class, I think that really helps you stay structured and keeps you away from the whole partying thing.
All right.
And then also sports is huge too. Like if you're, a lot of the times it's like it's a Friday or Saturday night. You're like, what else do I do besides go out? I mean, sometimes I would go play pickup basketball with my friends, and that keeps you away from the bars, keeps you out of trouble.
Okay. So now, how quickly into your college career did you decide what you were majoring in?
So I decided before I applied as a civil engineering student.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can pinpoint one reason why I did that, but I've always enjoyed being outside, which is something in civil engineering that you get to do. I had an uncle who was a civil engineer, and he was always kind of like an inspiring role model to me growing up. I liked what he did. And it's a really broad field, which suits me well because I'm kind of like, sometimes I lose, I don't have a exact direction I want to go. So it helps being in a broad field because you can go in so many different directions. It's good. I feel like I'll never get like pigeonholed somewhere where I don't like what I'm doing, because then I can just switch and do something else within that
So
industry.
you're like a free spirit, and you've got
little
many
bit.
options to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, because I still don't know exactly what I want to do, and it makes me comfortable that I'm in a field like civil engineering where I can sort of be versatile.
Okay, so I know you just finished a big internship, right? Now you're going into your senior year.
Right.
You're about to graduate, all right? You took in all these classes. Obviously, your senior year you haven't completed yet. What related with, while you were hands-on in your internship from what they taught you in school, and what did it?
A lot of stuff you learn in school you really don't see when you start working at an internship, and I think it varies based on your profession. Like I think some professions it's more important to be like have that major in college than it is for others. For me, I interned at a construction company, so my position was a field engineer. And for those of you who don't know who that is, it's sort of like you facilitate a construction project. So it's a lot of quality control. You're inspecting subcontractor work, you're managing subcontractors, you're submitting RFIs, which is something, it's a request for information. It's something you submit to the engineer who's hired to plan that project, and you're kind of the facilitator. So when something goes wrong, you're kind of the first person that has to deal with it, and you work for the project manager, and that's kind of what the pipeline is. You go project engineer or field engineer, then you're a project engineer, and then hopefully you become project manager. And then once you're a project manager, you're kind of you're overseeing the whole job. You're managing subcontractors, you're estimating costs before the project even starts, just making sure everything goes smooth.
So did you feel prepared?
So what I was getting to was when you're studying engineering, they don't really prepare you for the whole people-facing aspect of the job.
Okay.
You're taking math classes, which are extremely important, but for what I did as a field engineer, it's a lot of talking to people, it's a lot of organizational skills, and it's when you study engineering, you're you're studying concepts, you're studying physics, which becomes really important if you want to get your PE license. So that's something that I'm trying to pursue right after college. It's your professional engineering license. So the foundation of that license is all the things you learn in school, like physics, calculus. So that is extremely important, and I'm glad I'm studying those things at college because that'll build a good base for me when I go out and get my PE license. And you can do that working. So there's a couple different routes you can go because construction's so broad. So basically, I'll try to like lay out the whole power structure.
There you go.
So you got the owner, they want to build something. Let's say it's the Department of Transportation, they're building a bridge. So they're going to hire the engineering firm, which they're going to make all the plans, they're going to design it, and then they're going to hire a general contractor, which is the construction company. So I worked for a general contractor. So you have to be good at reading plans, and then there's also the whole other project management, which there's a major for. You can go to school and study construction management, which basically prepares you for that project management role. But a lot of companies will just hire engineers that end up becoming project managers because you get that foundation that you need. So you already understand all the engineering that goes behind it. So you're gonna be lacking in some of the organizational like project management skills, but you're gonna be technically sound. You're gonna know what's like load bearing, something simple. For example, like you look at the plans for your bridge. You're like, oh, this might not work. Let me ask the engineer about this. Whereas someone who didn't study engineering in college isn't going to have that same background and that same leverage.
Okay, so what about the people that believe that they actually are hands-on? They probably have more common sense than someone that's actually going to school.
Well, that's another thing. I think it's important to have those people around too. And like you said, there's people that are hands-on their whole lives. They come from a trade. Let's say they don't go to school. They work as an electrician or a carpenter, right? They work in a trade, and then they eventually can work their way up into a project management role or a superintendent, which is the guy who's overseeing all the field operations. And I think that experience is extremely important, and I think it pairs well with engineering. So I think you need both, because obviously everything you learn at school, it's like nothing's ever going to go exactly according to plan. So that's when it helps to have a guy who's been in a trade for all of his life. He's like, I've seen this happen out in field. It's not going to work, right? And it's less, science-based, but those guys are learning it hands-on, right?
Okay.
So I think it's harder to go that route nowadays. I think companies are looking for degrees more often than not. But, it's definitely still possible. And I worked when I was interning at my company, my direct report was he's a project engineer, but he started in the trades, and he actually did some time in the military. So he kind of had like a rocky path, but he ended up in the same position that I may end up coming like out of school.
Okay, so someone that's about to become a senior and they're trying to get their hands-on experience and get an internship, how did you land yours?
So we had a career fair, a civil engineering career fair, and I had no idea. It was the company's PCL Construction. They're a major construction company, and they're international. I mean, they do most of their work's North America, but I honestly didn't know anything about them. I kind of just went to the career fair. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't really have any plans. Like, I didn't have anything in mind. So I just brought my resume and I walked around, and I saw some kids talking to them, and they looked like cool guys. So I approached them and I was like, hey, what do you guys do? And they kind of explained it. And then they took me out to dinner that night because they enjoyed our conversation, and kind of just taught me more about like what they do as a company. And I really thought their projects were super interesting. They specialize in movable bridges for their civil transportation sector, which is, when you got boats coming through, the bridges swing or they lift, or it's like a drawbridge, which that was something that's really cool to me. There's a lot of construction that might be boring, but it seemed cool enough to like I kind of want to take a chance on the guys.
And what bridge were you working on?
So I wasn't on a bridge.
Okay.
I was in like a unique position because I don't know if do you know CSX railroads?
No, but pretend I did, but who knows? My audience doesn't. So
Yeah. Okay.
Let's tell them.
So they're a major railroad corporation.
Okay.
They're all over North America. I think they go up to Canada, but they're a client of ours. Or so we work a lot with them. We build movable bridges for their train bridges.
Okay.
So we've been doing that for a while, and we've developed a really good relationship with them. And I was on a coal pier, which CSX owned the facility. So it's basically their trains come in, dump coal, and it's a transfer plant. So the coal goes through a series of conveyor belts, and then it's dropped onto shipping boats that take it out overseas.
All right.
So it wasn't a bridge, but it was something that CSX owned, and CSX does like so many bridges. So that's a good example of why it's important as a construction company to have like strong client relations, because that job fell right in our hands. We didn't really have to bid for it because we had such a good relationship with them.
All
So
right.
it was cool to learn. A lot of it's, having good relationships with people. I think that goes a long way.
Of course.
So they
of
trust
course.
you enough. They know, okay, we have something that went wrong. The original facility actually blew up back in like 2021.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's in Baltimore, right on the harbor, and it blew up, and they called PCL right away.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
a lot of jobs you're gonna have to bid for it. You're competing against other GC firms. This one just fell right into our laps just because we have such a good relationship with them.
So after you graduate, are you going straight into what was that course you said? The PE, I believe.
The PE.
PE, or are you looking to go get some hands-on experience and then go back for the PE major? What is your goals?
So you could do both. You could work for a the project manager I was underneath. He got his PE license working at PCL Construction. The thing you have to do is work. You have to work under a licensed PE. So
Okay.
I would have to. Let's say I do another job with him. He would have to be like one of my sponsors, and then you need like 4 other sponsors, and you need to do it for 4 years, I think it is, and then you take another test.
Okay.
So you start off with the FE test, which I'm going to take next year. That's like the fundamentals, and that's like all of the stuff I've been learning in college. And then you get the hands-on experience, and you could do it. So you could work for a construction company, but you could also work for an engineering firm and do the same thing.
Do you have any idea where you might go work, or not yet?
I'm definitely leaning towards construction.
Okay.
I really like how PCL like operates. But you never know.
All right.
I'm going to keep my options open,
All right. So let's fast forward a little bit, and let's have a little bit of fun with this. Senior year, you're ready to finish, right? What are you looking forward to the most?
Football.
Football.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for your first tailgate?
It's not my first tailgate, man, but
Your first tailgate of the
First
season,
tailgate-
obviously.
yeah. Yeah, man, I'm stoked.
You're stoked. Who do
gonna
you
be a
guys
good
open
time.
up with?
LIU, like
LIU.
Long Island. So that should be like a blowout.
Blowout?
And then I think we got South Florida, and then LSU away. So
All right, so tell us an experience of a tailgate with you college kids. Does it start on a Saturday morning or does it begin Friday night?
it varies person to person. For me, a lot of times it starts Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends when the game is on Saturday, because if there's games that can start at noon, and then you got to start tailgating at like 8:00.
Okay.
So for something like that, you might want to just like take it easy the Friday before.
Mm.
But if it's a night game, you got plenty of time to recover. So
I gotcha.
the night games are a lot more fun, I will say that. Especially in Florida, if you're standing there in the heat, it can get brutal.
Of
I
course.
remember we played Miami, one of our first games last year, and it was middle of the day, and people were passing out like left and right. It doesn't help that people are drinking too; it makes it worse. So
I can only imagine. So, is there any classes that you're looking forward to taking for senior year?
yeah, I have this class, soil mechanics. I'm excited about it because I went through something at my internship where we had issues basically you have to get soil to a certain compaction percentage before you can build on it. And we had issues getting the soil where we needed it to be. So I'm excited to learn that class after going through that hands-on experience. I want to see I'm curious to see what they're going to teach about and if any of it's going to relate to what I went through in person.
That's cool. All right, so do me a favor. Somebody's about to start their college career, what advice would you have for them?
Just be open to anything, try new things, join clubs. Um, if you're, I mean, for someone like me, if you're civil engineering, you have the ASCE, which is an organization for engineers. So you can right off the bat, you can meet a bunch of people, join a fraternity, a sorority, just get yourself out there and just be open to things.
All right.
'Cause
And what are you going to miss the most about college?
you get a lot of freedom. I don't know. It's nice being able to just make your own schedule every day, and I really do like learning. I think for me, like some of the things we learn about, we get to do some cool things as civil engineers, and I really like the program at UF, and a lot of my friends, like we all go to class together, so it's pretty cool. I've gotten the chance to see some cool things, be in some cool labs.
Are there anything you're worried about after you graduate?
Not really, to be honest. I'm kind of just excited to find something that suits me.
There you go.
But yeah, and then just being around my friends, being around my fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Christian, I wish you nothing but the best, and good luck to you. And guys, I hope this helps.